It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative political radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative political radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
And welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show, 9:10 a.m. Your superstation. Feels so good to be in the studio here on this Friday night. Had a lot going on. Started for a little bit of inconvenience there, folks. I'm glad you're checking in. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about today. One thing we'll talk about is what I predicted earlier in this election cycle, that Bill Wild was going to jump into that 13th congressional race. And I believe that now he's made it official. I want to know, will it be a white guy to take John Conyers' seat in the 13th district? People thought I was joking before. You've got now 10, 12 candidates that are all running for the same office, all running for the same seat, and there's been no discussion on who should just drop out that race. You've got a bunch of state rep candidates that could easily keep their elected seats, wouldn't have to risk losing the seat, wouldn't have to risk their political careers at this point. But we all know in the game of politics, there's a vicious ego thing that goes on. And so now you've got about 10 candidates from Detroit, and you've got Bill Wild out of Westland, the mayor of Westland, who has actually a track record of leadership now compared to all these other candidates from in the 13th district that don't have what I would call that level of leadership. Westland's a smaller city, so it's not in comparison to Detroit in terms of that. But nonetheless, it is leadership, and Westland is on the rise, in pretty good shape. And so I think that's going to be a strong selling point for him, not to mention that all the surrounding suburbs that probably never been all that fond of John Conyers have probably been feeling left out. They've been feeling like that they had no chance. Well, what's the point? I'm just going to vote for Conyers. That's what my union's saying. This is the only guy we have. Now they have a choice, folks. And you can bet your bottom dollar that Bill Wild is going to be the choice of all those folks outside of Wayne County. Heck, I know some folks in Detroit that are going to vote for Bill Wild. So I think that it's very possible that you're going to have a white guy replace John Conyers, the Honorable John Conyers, because of the Me Too movement and Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi called for him to be removed. And so you're going to have Bill Wild possibly win that seat. I know Jonathan Kinlock has just got to be shaking his head in disgust right now. I'd love to have him come on one of these days and talk about what we have going on in for this race. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. Give us a call, 313-778-7600. Would you vote for Bill Wild to be your 13th district congressional member? Would you be okay with replacing the Honorable John Conyers with Bill Wild? I don't know. There's a lot of people. Chanel Jackson just had her kickoff event this morning. That's probably one of my favorite Democrats. Shouts out to Chanel. Pro-choice, pro-school choice, I should say. I've always been a fan of hers for being a Democrat and being willing to take on issues that aren't necessarily your favorite. And we're going to talk about that. You know what, Mr. Fancher, we're going to definitely talk about, because I haven't been in the office all week, we're going to talk about haven't been in the studio a good portion of it. We're going to talk about the incident in Parkland, the lack of security. What are some of the solutions? My teacher, the greatest teacher I ever had at Mumford, Howard Fancher, Mr. Fancher, the legend, just chimed in on that. And we're going to talk about the security measures at Mumford High School, where I went, that made it all but impossible to ever have a mass shooting inside the school. Now, we can talk about outside on Wyoming and Curtis and say that it still ain't going to be a mass shooting. But we're going to talk about that because I think what it is the suburban schools and some of these rural schools are just going to have to adapt to what DPS, because even in Southfield, we've had a lot of problems with fighting and things like that, and they just don't have an officer at the school. They don't have security in the school. Well, these are things that have been going on in DPD in the schools I went to. I went to Mumford. I spent a little time at Henry Ford as well. My mom taught there, so I spent a lot of time going there. Shout out to Henry Ford, Mumford, DPD, Cass. If you went to Cass, there were police there. There was never going to be a mass shooting there. Now, just so we can paint a picture here, I was at Mumford in the 90s. We had metal detectors. Okay, so first of all, you weren't going to get into the school with a pistol. And, back then, guys was trying. You couldn't get – it was one way to get into Mumford. That was through that front door. There was no other way to get in, and there was no other way to get out. And so if you got in through that way, there was a metal detector. That was the first thing. Now, maybe to some of these suburban folks and rural folks, this sounds like a terrible thing. Why would we have police there or armed guards? I think now we understand, at least, because everybody jokes about the safety of Detroit. Hey, inside a DPD school was always a safe place, because you always had security that everyone knew, and they knew you. And you had police officers, Officer French, and all those guys that you didn't mess around. They had a relationship. It went both ways. And so, the police officers knew what time you were supposed to be in school. And some of those guys knew my father because he was a police officer for a time. So those guys would say, man, you better get to school. You Wayne Bradley's son. You had police officers that monitored the school because they knew the kids. And so they knew who the gang, the gangs were, the 7 Miles, the PAs, all this different stuff at Mumford. So this whole lone wolf scenario, if there was a guy that had got kicked out of Mumford because he had threatened teachers and all this stuff, he would not have made it back inside the school. Chances are the police or whoever would have saw him before he even made it to the school. So I just think that we're overthinking school security here because it can't be that hard. All right, let's go to our first call. We're going to go to Olaf on the line. I know I ain't talked to Olaf in a minute. Olaf, welcome to the show.
No, man, thank you for taking my call, Wayne. As usual, the only Republican I ever had love for.
And I appreciate
besides
it,
Michael Steele. Besides Michael Steele.
That's my guy.
He's a very bright guy, too.
That's my guy.
To be a Republican. But Wayne, you're a man in the White House as it relates to these violence. What do you think about that issue with teachers arming themselves in some of these schools? What do you think about that? Now, that's his ideal. That's his bright ideal, sir. What do you think about that?
I think that should be an option for teachers. I don't think that he should be encouraging that policy. But I think that, especially in these rural areas or some certain areas, I don't think that. I think that should be an option. I don't think in DPD that would be necessary. You had teachers there that might have packed something into their purse anyway. Okay.
Right.
All right. So.
And by me also going to DPD class of 92, Redford Huskies, we had police officers. We had Officer Grimes, black guy, and Officer Hodges, white cop. We didn't have any problems. We had some fights up in there. But think about it. You never had it. I want you to research this. I have. Now, one time in American history, have you ever had a mass shooting in a black urban school anywhere in America? Or never had you had a shooting by an African American person at a school shooting? They've always been white. They've always been in white areas and white rural areas. You know why? Because just what you mentioned, we have security guards, police officers, we have metal detectors, and yada, yada, yada.
Now, Olaf, to be fair, like I was saying, now I can't speak what happened on Grand River when you got over there after you left Redford. Can't speak what happens on Wyoming and Curtis. But in school it was safe.
Come on the rapper, man, and them school crap boys will be out there
Right.
on Grand River.
Right.
Man, and and we had a police department right across the street. We had the I forgot what precinct
the old precinct right there off the corner, right there. And
that's right. And them school crap boys and them 7 Mile boys and them S&S boys are down there fighting and beating up kids coming out of school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
but again, I'll take that every time over a mass shooting. And again, the police knew who those kids were. So the next time that happened, I mean, it didn't happen all the time. But the point being is that you did not have anybody running up in the school in DPD.
Yeah.
And I just think that, I don't know, maybe I'm, because of my experience, we're over complicating this issue. You won't have these kind of shootings if you have police. I don't understand what the problem is. Have police assigned to the school and have you some security inside the school.
Yeah.
I think what it is, I think there's a resistance. To me, when I keep hearing these stories, it happened out in Parkland, which is more of an affluent area in Florida. I'm starting to believe that maybe these affluent areas, one, they don't want to give the impression that they need police at their school every day like this, and two, that they just don't think is an issue, unfortunately, until they become a victim. But
what it is, like these white kids, they have been so privileged for so long. They sit back, they look at the news stories of our kids getting shot in the streets in Detroit and Chicago, Baltimore, and everything. But when it touches home to them, they can't handle it when it happens to them in their schools, in the privacy of their schools. Now, it happens to us, but it happens to our kids, in the streets, in the city, in the cities and stuff like that, stuff like that. But when it happens to them, I mean, it's them hard. And you see these kids, and I was proud of them to see them go down there to the Florida Capitol and voicing their opinion and coming down and talking to your man Trump, who had no empathy for them at all. He was just looking like a statue. But, we all know that he doesn't really give a damn about them anyways. He's really not going to change the laws. But, I was proud of those kids, man. And, but what they really learned from, they looked at a lot of these young kids from Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of these young black teenagers that's been going through these struggles, and they took a page out of their book. Would you not agree, sir?
No, I agree. I'm like I said, when I'm looking at it, I just think that I won't say Black Lives Matter. What I will say is that every time there is a mass shooting in America, the first thing that happens is that they start going after gun control laws, and it's a knee-jerk reaction. I get it, and I do believe that there is some kind of ground that can be negotiated here, because I do believe that in certain instances our leaders on both sides of the aisle are reluctant. Democrats cheer for gun control and they say they want to do anything, but they didn't do anything when they had President Obama in there from 2008 to 2010 with a Democrat-led House and a Democrat-led Senate. So, I mean, I think that there's a lot of people it's easy for them to say, oh, let's, make it tighter. But, the NRA which is, I love to say, is the longest civil rights organization in America, the oldest civil rights organization in America. They lobby very strong on a statewide and national level. And I don't think they're willing. See, the thing is, once you start conceding a little bit.
The NRA has fought for gun rights in cities like Chicago,
right,
and cities like Washington, D.C., and cities like New York and Baltimore, where they have deprived African people of color from arming themselves.
That's right.
They have that, and that is Detroit. People don't understand. Detroit is one of the only urban cities in the United States that allows you to carry concealed weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't
and Olaf, who made that possible here in the state of Michigan? A Republican, John Engler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and listen, you go to Chicago. You go to Chicago, and these strict gun laws that they have there, it does not stop the crime. I think that's what I always tell people. Look, if you could show me in the numbers that if we go ahead and ban all these different guns or make these new laws tomorrow and that it would actually work, you would have a lot more people to support your cause. But the fact is that I can go to all these cities where the gun laws are the tightest, and it's very ineffective.
Mostly in black and brown urban cities.
Black and brown urban America.
Urban Democratic cities. Yeah, I will admit that.
And that's not even to me. It's the political part is on some of it. It's just the reality. And Olaf, I got to go to the break. I'll tell you what. Can you hold on for a minute because we're gonna finish this up. I like talking with you, brother.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back on the Wayne Bradley Show. We're going to come back to Olaf, and we're going to talk to Anthony, Brian, and a couple other folks that's calling in to chime in. I appreciate you calling in, Olaf, and your honesty, man. We'll be right back on the Wayne Bradley Show, 9-10 a.m., your superstation, the future of radio.
That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show.
910 AM Superstation is the only place to get the best in talk radio from sunup to sundown.
You have to get to the point that the most important voice that's in your head is your own. And if you can't stick on what the voice is inside your head, then you got to get the word down deep inside of you, so that's what you can turn to.
That's right. We wake you up with motivation at 5 a.m.
What I've learned, life has its punches, life has its ups and downs, but don't stop moving. You know why? Because can't hit a moving target.
And keep you entertained and enlightened all the way to 3 a.m. Don't believe me? Just listen.
We are fortunate to have parents like Yolanda who never, ever stand down in the fight for having her children have a decent education.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio.
Nine 10 a.m. Superstation is launching a new initiative called the 9-10 a.m. Ambassadors Program,
where schools will be provided a platform to allow their inspiring broadcast and media students to weekly broadcast, highlighting their schools.
All we will need is a 60-second video taken from a smartphone, tablet, or video camera, highlighting a story at your school.
Whether it's featuring one of your athletic teams, a student organization helping in the community, a student being chosen for a scholarship, or a teacher's unique approach to relating to students.
Whatever weekly story will best show how your school is unique and set apart, that's what we want to promote.
Your weekly video will be featured on all our social media platforms, from Facebook to Instagram.
To receive more information or speak with our ambassador representative, email us at 910amradio@gmail.com.
And don't forget to watch and listen for your story soon on 910 AM Superstation, the future of radio.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative political radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative political radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. Oh, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show. You're listening to us on 910 AM, your superstation, the future of radio. Mr. Fancher, that number is 313-778-7600. So give us a call. I'd love to hear from one of my first mentors, one of the guys who taught me from day one. It's two things you don't lie about, and that's history and women. My hero, one of my heroes. That's having strong black men as teachers has definitely made a difference in my life. Let's go back to Olaf real quick. Olaf.
Yes, sir, and thank you for holding me over, Wayne. Another question I want to ask you real quick. Now, what do you think about the 18 to 21 range in terms of buying these semi-auto? They want to change the age from 18 to 21 in terms of buying these semi-automatic rifles. Do you think that's a good thing?
I think that they ought to do some research and see if that's even will make a difference. You know what I mean? Obviously, with these young kids, because what's happening is a lot of these kids are getting their parents' guns. So I don't know how many 18-year-olds are actually walking in buying AR-15s in the first place. But being that I'm 41, I'm probably not going to fight that one too hard. I think that and most of those guys in Congress, and they're not going to fight that one too hard. In Florida, matter of fact, they've already made that. They're already pushing for that to be the law. So I don't know if that's really a solution, but if that will make some of these, I think if that can get some of these gun grabbers to calm down for a little while. Unfortunately, I think the 18 to 21-year-olds might have to be the sacrifice.
Okay, because my thing is, my thing is this, though. If you want to be able to buy a gun, as long as you got a clean record, and you should be able to have as many guns as you want. If you want an AR-15 or whatever, me, myself, I'm fine.
I'm fine with it, too.
Guns myself. I'm fine with it, bro, because you never know what might happen. You know what I'm saying?
And I tell people that all the time. There you go. And listen, in the same way that you talk about these guns, and like, why do you need all these, why do you need all these bullets in the gun? Why do we need cars that go over 80 miles per hour? Why do we need a Corvette that does $150? It's an individual choice if you're going to get that fast. It's an individual choice if you're going to go shoot up something. It's not the manufacturer's fault. It's not the, it's the individual.
If they make it, and you got the money, you should make buy. Now, they don't say that if you buy 10 Corvettes, they don't have a problem with that. If you got the money to buy 10 Corvettes, then go ahead and buy it. Well, if I buy 10 AR-15s, what?
Yeah, and some people like guns.
And I got the money to afford it.
Some people like guns and never even shoot them off.
That I don't get, Wayne.
Yeah,
yes, I'm listening.
And some people buy guns and rarely even use them. They just like to have them. They like to look at them. They like to go maybe hunting every now and then, but maybe take them to the range. I mean, some people grew up liking guns. And this soft generation now, that's not going to happen anymore. But, in our generation and older, guys grew up watching Westerns and cop movies and a lot of shoot 'em up, bang, bang. It was just Charles Bronson. It was not a big deal, and so America's always loved guns. This is just nothing new. And I just think that you're not going to ever stop the gun culture in America because it crosses over ethnic lines, it crosses age groups, it crosses over into into what level of income you have. Americans love guns. And it's just nothing.
Americans love guns, and they love the apple pie, and that's the American way of life. That's just how it is, bro.
Amen, Ola.
That's just how it is.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for calling in today, brother. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Anthony, and then we're going to some of the legend, Mr. Fancher. Anthony, welcome to the show.
What up, though?
What's going on, brother?
All right. We did have, a concealed carry permit person that worked for the public school system. And unfortunately, he was killed, Orlando Castillo, by a cop. So all this talk about arming teachers and stuff like that, look what this man got.
I saw what you just did there, Anthony. That was kind of slick. I saw how you connected those two. But where did you go to high school, my friend? Just tell me that. Where did you go to high school?
Well, Southwest Detroit, Southwestern.
All right. Let's South. I know who it is. That's why I want you to say you went to Southwestern. Did you not have armed security? Did you not have police that were always in the parking lot? At least one car in the lot. And did you not have security inside?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a mass shooting at Southwestern?
No. Know why?
Why?
Because kids didn't own AK-47s.
Is that so?
Coming in.
Are you willing to say that no one in our age group at that time? Well, let's go to now.
I won't say no one. But
okay, so they didn't come. But you know what? They didn't come up there to shoot up the whole school.
Right, because we got other types of problems than the suburban life problems.
All right, but why? So my point being is, why can't they take the solutions that work in the urban setting and put a police officer in your parking lot?
Here's the solution. We need everything. Everybody's suggestions. Why not do it all? I heard earlier today about this one school system. They put panic buttons under every teacher's desk, and it signals the police. And number two, they had once that panic button goes, the cameras in the hallway lights up, and then gives a live feed to the police station. see what's going on, where who's shooting, where's this, the shooters at.
Well,
stuff like
that might be helpful, but it sounds like they're just going to they get to watch the massacre live on tape.
No, but you know where they're at. Okay, that school is pretty big, right?
Right.
And it was like in the freshman part of the school, so they can go straight to that area where the gunman is. Plus, you can identify him right away because you remember he blended in and walked out. Remember that?
Yeah, listen, it's not as simple. I understand it's not a simple solution, but I mean, I'm with you on that. Why not give all the options on the table to keep our kids safe?
First of all, what you need to do, let's give teachers guns. Why don't you ask the teachers if they really want
Well, that's what I said that earlier, Anthony. I said that should be an option. If a teacher wants a gun.
He wasn't giving me any audio, man.
Yeah, if I said that from the beginning, I said I think that should be an option, and I think that in certain districts and certain areas, there's going to be some rural teachers and all that might think, hey, I already bring my gun to school anyway, so it's no big deal.
No, but here's the thing. But everybody thinks like teachers, you arm the teacher, they're just going to be this like supreme sharpshooter.
No, it's more of a deterrence. It's more of a deterrence. Think about that. If you just put a sign up that says, "Hey, we have armed teachers on the premises,"
people come to kill. That's basically they trying to commit suicide themselves. So they want to be shot. They want to be in that situation. They're not trying to get away. Majority of them get shot, right?
Yeah, but this guy didn't. This guy didn't.
Well, I'm saying like majority of them get shot.
But
right?
they wouldn't.
Like
but
suicide.
Don't you think that like how you never have mass shootings in police stations, you never have them in shooting ranges. You always look for soft targets. Take away the soft targets. All schools are gun-free zones. That's a soft target.
Okay. Have you ever seen teachers cry by students? So what makes you think some of them going to just have the mental capability of number one having a gun on them?
That's why you make it an option, not mandatory.
Well, how about this? Kids are running at you as a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what your first thing to do is let's get them in my class and lock the door for safety, or run in the opposite direction and start trying to shoot at the gunman?
I think most people would err on the side of caution. You might get a hero out there every now and then. But obviously, as we saw from the sheriff who refused to pull his gun.
What are you guys going to say, God forbid, like you give a teacher a gun and in the crossfires, this teacher hits a couple kids?
That could definitely be. That's a possibility that could happen.
So let's stop acting like that's the sole and only.
I didn't say that's the only option. I'm saying that should like how you said. Just how you said we should have them all of them.
Your president and the NRA are saying that all over the news at CPAC. Come on, man. They ain't saying nothing else but arming the teachers.
No. They're talking about hiring retired veterans.
That the NRA said.
No, I agree. The NRA is pushing a narrative of arming teachers because, of course, that means more NRA members and gun owners. But
one of the things I want to talk about.
That's kind of like how the union pushes this $15 an hour on the fast food industry. Everyone's looking for new members.
Do you truly believe the NRA is this just to protect the Second Amendment, or it's a profit type organization?
No, it's a civil rights organization, the longest standing civil rights organization in America.
Civil rights organization. Are you serious?
It is.
What rights have they?
Listen, the NRA has been fighting for black folks to be able to defend themselves in urban communities for decades. It goes all the way back to Ozzie and Sweet.
Black Panthers. You notice when the black people start arming themselves with the Black Panthers, what did they do to them?
You said what happened when they did it to the black? That was the police. That wasn't the NRA.
Why didn't the NRA protect them then?
Let's look back to see if they did or didn't. I'm not going to say they didn't.
They didn't because
they defended Ozzie and Sweet here in Detroit. They defended Ozzie and Sweet.
Here's the most perfect solution to gun control.
Here we go.
A gun.
All right, Anthony.
Walk up and down the street.
And let's make America great again. And make it nice and safe.
Okay, you don't want to hear that.
Nah, because it's such a bad narrative. The NRA is is the longest standing civil rights organization in America. They support black people having their Second Amendment rights too.
When?
It goes all the way back to Dr. Ozzie and Sweet. I'm going to bring Rick Ector on this show. We're going to talk about that.
Give me an example. Did they stand
I want you to look up Dr. Ozzie and Sweet in Detroit.
Did they stand up for land?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Did they do march?
Yes, they did.
They one statement. What else did
They
they
stood
do?
up for Orlando Castile. You might not be comfortable with the
When?
level, but he definitely did. Thank you, Anthony.
What?
I want you to
come on,
check
now
the.
you-
I got these other calls. I got to get to these other calls, man. You can call back. I got to get to these other calls. All right, I got my board operator. He's running this right now. I'm going to Dr. Fancher. Howard is on the line.
Yes, Ayatollah Bradley. What's happening?
Mr. Fancher, give him a round of applause. He deserves a round of applause. This guy is a legend to me. My favorite teacher ever at Mumford High School. I don't want to make any other teachers feel bad, but this is definitely my favorite teacher ever. Mr. Fancher, welcome to the show, sir.
You want me to talk about teachers with guns, school security, or gun control?
Let's start with school security and then the idea with teachers with guns. Let's go. We'll go from there first. You taught at Mumford. How long did you teach at Mumford?
12 years.
In your experience, now let's in my time at Mumford, I made a post earlier about that. And Anthony, we will get back to you, my friend, but we just got to go through some of these calls, man. We got a lot of folks on the line. We never had any experiences with mass shootings at Mumford. Why do you think that happened? Why do you think we never had those experiences?
It's hard. First of all, it was extremely hard to get into Mumford because Dr. Odom had all the doors locked and chained from the inside, and at the main door there was a metal detector.
Right.
In the event of a fire, fire drill, anything like that, certain teachers had keys to go down and unchain and unlock those doors.
Right.
And to make sure people got out. But other than that, those doors were always locked and chained so that nobody could sneak in or nobody could sneak out.
And so that was the first thing, the school security. Now, I understand now these newer schools, high schools, they got like campus-type settings. But that was the first thing. We had a secured school. Now, the second thing, what I always remember, we had police officers at our school.
Officer Fordham, Officer Cosby, a male and a female. They were definitely Detroit police officers.
And so,
we also had school security who was not armed.
Okay, so we didn't have armed security guards. They were just security guards, but they were there to help break up fights and things like that. But we always had, a lot of times when we walked up to the school, the car was parked up on the street. It wasn't even in the road. It was on front of the school. So we always knew there was a police presence at Mumford. And I just wonder, do you think that is part of the solution for some of these suburban schools? And I guess maybe some of these, bigger, what they call, campus-style high schools?
It was definitely a solution for Detroit public schools. The thing is, you have to limit access.
Okay.
Most people who think, and you got to understand, in Detroit, it wasn't so much somebody with a bona fide mental illness going out shooting somebody. You were trying to get at a specific
person. Yep, exactly. And you knew those guys.
Hurt nobody else, but you would get that specific target.
Right.
That one person you wanted to get.
Yep.
You had no reason to bother anybody else. We didn't do anything to you.
Right.
But that one specific target you might have been determined to get. You knew you couldn't get them into school because you had to go through the metal detectors.
Yep.
And there was only one way in and one way out.
But once you got to Wyoming and Curtis, it's a different situation.
Yeah. Once you left the perimeter of school, hey, you on your own.
That's what this last caller, he went to Redford. I was like, yeah, it was good inside of Redford, but once you got to Grand River and Lasher, you on your own, man. And so
that football player from Redford got killed going to the bus stop. That wide receiver. I can't think his last name. His first name was Frank.
Yep, I do. I think I remember that. And I think that, like I said, now this is, again, not mass shootings. These are not, there's terrible stories, but you're not getting 17, 18 people shot, killed at one time. And I think that maybe these suburban schools need to look at the model of urban schools and how they secure their schools. Like you said, less access, stop making it a college campus, because that's not what it is. And I think that's something we need to look at. Now, the last thing I want to ask you, being the historian that you are, do you think there's any chance that anything's going to get done in terms of gun rights? And do you agree with me on my statement, and at least in part, about that the NRA is the longest-standing civil rights organization in America?
I have to check the actual history of the NRA, because I know it started out in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I have to check the actual history of it. Now, myself, I am a outdoorsman. I am a hunter.
Right.
I don't see the validity of having any type of an assault rifle or anything with more than 3 shots in it if you're going hunting.
Right.
The people I hunt with, you were embarrassed if you had to use more than 2 shots.
Right.
So for deer hunting, I mean, an assault rifle is an absurd weapon to use for deer hunting. There's no animal in America that dangerous to where you need an assault rifle.
I was told by some of my hunting buddies that the only animal that would be appropriate to use for that would be wild hogs, and that they do hunt those in Arkansas and places like that. They all over Mississippi. You see them all the time. Yeah, they said those move fast and they're aggressive, and you're not hunting them for the sport. You're hunting them to either protect your land or something like that. So that's the only example I've been told of that would be an acceptable hunting weapon, would be to fend off wild hogs and boars and things of that nature. I guess that would make sense, because they're not something that you're going to get much value out of.
You could use a deer rifle. I don't know anybody got an assault weapon for that, but a deer rifle, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, do you think do you think there's any traction that these gun laws, and they're trying to push for more gun restrictions? Do you think that anything's going to get done?
Well, I would say that before you could purchase a gun, you have to be trained.
Okay.
You'd have to know how to shoot it, how to clean it, how to break it down, and understand what a gun can do.
Right.
And then what are you going to use it for? Like I said before, to me, nobody except the military needs an assault rifle. Because other than going hunting, what you're going to use, an assault rifle, a high-powered rifle is not good. It's not good for home defense.
All right. Well, I don't know, Mr. Fancher. I like those guns. I like an AR-15. Like I said, if they break into your house with an AR-15 or an AK-47, don't you think you need to have one?
Well, a shotgun, to me, in my house, I had a shotgun.
Right. So that's all you need.
That was all I needed. To me, was a shotgun. Most people that I know live in the country. They'll have a shotgun and a pistol.
And a pistol, right? Okay.
But not an assault rifle. Those that my friends that they're deer hunt. They have their deer rifles.
Right. That makes sense.
But not an assault rifle, and there is a difference, and you have to be skillful to use a deer rifle.
Right.
It's not something you just pick up and shoot. In most cases, you need a scope on it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just go out there and just shoot. And you have to have some knowledge and some skill to hunt.
Right.
You don't just wander about in the woods and stumble upon an animal.
Right.
It don't work like that.
You're making sense. Well, Mr. Fancher, thank you, sir, for calling in today. Don't hang up on my teacher. Don't hang up on my teacher, man. Now, go ahead, Mr. Fancher.
Wait. Just one thing. Remember, it's not 2 things no more. It's 3 things you don't lie about. History, women, and the FBI.
Oh, no. Don't lie to the FBI.
You can lie about anything else. You can lie to your mother, your father, your children, your wives, your employer, anything. Don't lie about those three.
You're right.
Ways of being found out.
Word to the wise by the glorious Mr. Fancher. Thank you, sir, for calling in today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ayatollah Bradley.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's go to Ray, who's been on the line. Sorry about that. Ray, thanks for waiting.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. I got to make a quick comment. I've got a pizza in the oven, and I burn them every time. Listen, this is what I want people of Detroit to know.
Mm-hmm.
You have the right to buy a weapon. You have a right, legally, right now, to carry that weapon if you're not a felon. Now, what I am suggesting is buy Grandma an AR-15, buy her whatever to protect her when she's living alone, because the people that most Detroiters vote for, the Democrat Party, want to take that right,
they sure
your
do,
constitutional right, away from you. Now, you're going to get them guns and get them, everybody in Detroit, because this is our right. This is the American right. They're going to take this away. Detroit is a special place. But they're not going to go that route. Listen closely.
Mm-hmm.
The right to bear arms, they won't take that right. This is where they're going to do this at. They're going to make
ammunition
a law where you can't get ammunition. Thank you.
Ammunition.
So
or they make it so expensive. Ray, that you can't get it.
No, they're going to take it away from everybody in Detroit. So everybody listen to me. When you buy the couch, sofa, buy ammunition, because they are coming after your right, the Second Amendment. And I don't care what color you are. Americans have the right
to the gun,
bear arms,
not the ammunition.
Everything. Hey,
that's right.
If they could, they'd take a knife away from us. They could, they would do everything to take our rights away.
You're calling it, Ray. You're calling it exactly right on that. We have a right to the gun, but they didn't say anything about ammunition. You are so right.
Because that's how they're going to take our right away.
I hope you guys are listening to Ray. He's speaking the truth.
In Detroit, to buy ammunition and get your grandma an AR-15, because they're coming after your rights. The Democrat Party is buy all the ammunition you can buy, because that's how they're going to do this.
Thanks, Ray.
Good night.
Get to that pizza, man. Thanks for calling in. All right, let's go to Brian. He's been waiting. Brian, thanks for waiting so patiently.
Hey, no problem, man. Before I say anything, my condolences to the Russells, man. Cliff was my man, brother. And, wow, that really, really, really hurts. So I want to say this to you, man. Mm-hmm. It's not always being easy to be right with you a lot of times, but sometimes your show be so sensitive, man. Like this one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
When you went back to Mumford, I thought about coming off the east side, fighting through all those games, the BKs, the Earl Flynn's, then come on 8 Mile with that shenanigans with them
ponies,
8 Mile Sconies, West Sconies,
yes, sir.
FAs. I was like, wait a minute, I fought all these guys on the east side. Now on the west side, the only difference was there's a little bit more sophisticated. And I'll never forget, just 2 years ago, me and Trick, a little 4-year-old girl got killed on Winthrop and 7 Mile. We met up and we talked, and we were pushing this lady. She runs all the organizations over there, older lady, real nice, and she's in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And as we talked, me and Trick, we talked about the fighting. We fought back then, fist fought. And I thought about on 8 Mile, and you might remember these guys. I was a little bit before you, Dwayne. But only 2 guys we lost back then. One was Willie McLeod and Dalby B. Wilson. And those were separate incidents that actually they used to go on announcement at Bobby, because I went to all 3 schools over there when I came off the east side.
Okay.
But when they announced it on school, back then it meant something. Everybody, like if somebody died back then, it really meant something, and everybody went to the funerals. Nowadays, this claimant got so out of hand, and you're right, Forehand was the police officer at Mumford. You didn't have that.
Nah.
You didn't
and they knew who the knuckleheads were on top of that. So if there was a fight.
One more person you probably remember, Dwayne. Another thing we had in respect, it was Coach Vaughn. Coach Vaughn was the swimming coach and the football coach. Coach Vaughn, if he caught you himself, you had a problem. So there's no more respect. schools need to be put back squads of us in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some things on the planet right now. I've been talking to Minister Troy Muhammad. So we're going to bring this out and other people. So, brother, I want you to.
Hey, Brian, I tell you what, I'm going to put you on hold. Can I get your number too, man? I'm going to reach out to you after the show.
I want you to have it, Dwayne. Yeah.
All right. I'll reach out to you after the show. I'm going to get you, keep you on hold here, and I'm going to get your number because I'd love to help be part of that, man. It's some common sense stuff we need to do. Some tough love for these young
Dwayne, real quick, before you put me on hold, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Listen. What's happening is division right now. They want black people to call in and say what's wrong with you, this and that. First of all, it ain't about Democrat or Republican. It's about surviving.
Right.
And to that last caller, brother, it ain't about the ammunition. I live in Oakland County. When they come, they know what you have. They got sensors that can tell what's in your house. All they're going to ask you to do is to render those weapons. So as far as all that ammunition, you can cut that out. I'm in Oakland County. I'm telling you how the meetings go out here.
Well, yeah, I think there's been a lot of discussions about not banning it, but making it so expensive that people just wouldn't be able to go out and do target practice, and you would only have your one.
The part he's talking about, Dwayne, the part he's talking about is when they try to take your rights from you. That's not how they're going to do it. They're going to show up with tanks at your houses in the suburbs and in Detroit. And when they're ready to go on martial law, just within the next couple of years, back to Stalin days when they say, papers, where you going? I'm going to Wendy's. I'm going, okay, let me see. Right. Other than that, you should be in the house at 10 o'clock. Pay attention to what's going to happen in the United States, brother. They don't have these army bases around Selfridge that, hold on, who owns them? Russian. Why? Because we sold too much land to anybody. That's the greed of the United States. Look up who owns a lot of this land right now. Why do you think Dan Gilbert and the mayor bought up Whitemore? You better look that up.
I know about that. I already know about the Brightmoor. I've been telling people they about to put luxury homes in the woods. Luxury homes in the woods coming to Brightmoor.
There you go. Hey, put me on hold and get that number.
I got it. He already gave it to me. He gave it to me just now, so I got it in my hands, man.
I love you, brother.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it, bro. We're going to be in touch real soon. Peace.
Yes, sir.
All right, the number is 313 Coleman if you're watching, 313-778-7600. Oh, Mo Green's got some commentary. DGB Mo Green. Tell him he can come into the studio whenever he wants to. That's my guy right there. But, yeah, 313-778-7600. We're explaining the experience, the DPS experience compared to what these suburbs are going through. We only got – how much time we got here? We got like 2 minutes to break. 1 minute. All right, so I'm not going to rush anybody. When we come back, Abdullah is next. Abdullah, you're next. Anthony, man, I apologize. My Spartan dog, my brother, for having to kick you off there. We just got so many folks on the line. We want to make sure everybody gets a chance to put their opinion out here and give a talk on the Wayne Bradley Show. So give us a call, 313-778-7600. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 910 AM, your Superstation.
On 910 AM Superstation. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Mitchell, your host of Mind Your Business. Listen to my show live every Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m.
I'm Reverend Maya Lisa Reynolds, inviting you to listen to Mama Maya Speaks Friday evenings from 9 until 11 p.m., discussing education, motivation, and inspiration on Superstation 910 AM.
Different names, different voices, but the same energy. 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chisane.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary. There's only one place to hear the future of radio, and that's 910 AM Superstation. It's the best talk radio in town with the best insight.
You know, when DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C. was being built, it was a slum at first, and then it became this really beautiful neighborhood because the LGBT folks just took it over and made it beautiful.
The most facts.
Coleman Young, who I predicted would get in the race, he's going to try to bring it back for the motherland. He wants to bring it to the motherland. Coleman Young is going to run for Congress.
And the best callers.
What you want to do?
Well, a few things. Trying to become a better chess player.
Okay, a chess
player. I want to learn how to jig.
You want to learn how to jig? Jig is the bomb.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation, the leader in facts.
George Papadopoulos, a former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor, has admitted to lying to the FBI.
Opinions.
Being honest, there's such a different logistical challenge working in Puerto Rico than there's been in Florida and Texas, and it's not there for Puerto Rico. And I think one congressman said they want statehood now. Makes sense to me. I would if I was Puerto Rico. I know I'd want statehood at this point because they need the money.
News and everything in between.
I'd like to now welcome Bill Cobbs onto the line.
You can't take a city where in 1999 you had 199 schools and reduce it to a community with less than 100 schools and talk about removing 26 additional schools and be serious about saying that you're committed to providing an equivalent educational opportunity.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation, the leader in opinions.
Malcolm and the Muslim movement back then never preached in selling drugs, raping, and crime. They always talk about defending yourself.
Yeah, but both of them talked about a clean spirit. Both of them talked about moving black folks. Both of them talked about moving black folks forward. And the question is, my brother,
the reason why the media and the school always push Martin, and when you go into most black folks' home, you see Martin and not Malcolm.
I agree with that, brother.
Malcolm way of thinking, it works. Anytime you want to integrate with somebody like Trump and Duggan, you misleading your people.
Hold on.
Jews don't think that way. Chinese, Arabs don't think that way. So again, let's get ourselves together. Then we'll
brother.
And the power, the greatest power is economic power.
Yes, that's what it's all about.
I mean, that's what it all is.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit and the talk of the town. Weekdays, weeknights, weekends, and everything in between. If you want national topics, we have it.
Is this DACA challenge that the president has presented? He rolled back the...
Well, he hasn't done it yet. Anybody who says that they know what he's going to do before it happens is making a mistake.
Local discussions. We have that too.
You know, the Pistons, the Red Wings, those arenas, they were made for people primarily in the suburbs, I think, coming in.
Entertainment and relationships? Listen up. And if you thought we were restricted to only the radio, think again. You can hear all of this on 910 AM as well as on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube Live, YouTube Red, and Facebook Live. That's right. Download the 910 AM Superstation app in the Apple, Android, or Windows App Store today and stay connected to the best station in town. 910 AM Superstation gives you the flip side, the real side. This is our side.
Listen live now. The number one station, period.
And on that note, let's get back to the program.
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative political radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative political radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show.
Welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show on 910 AM, your superstation, the future of radio. Been having a very heated discussion here about how do we solve the mass shooting situation in places like Parkland. And I stated simply that we just take it how we did in DPD. Limited access. We had bars on the windows. We called it the Blue Prison. When you stepped out in the afternoon, your eyes were squinting because it was so dark up in that joint. But it was Mumford, and we didn't have any of those mass shootings. So Maybe they just need to pay a little attention to how they're doing it in Chicago's and the Detroits. We know how to keep our kids safe in school, that's for sure. All right, let's go to Abdullah, who's been waiting on the line so patiently. Abdullah, welcome to the show.
Well, and thank you for taking my call.
You know
and, here's these guns. Some guns we do not need, like these ones that they shoot up places like that guy that killed, 50-something people with them guns. See, they are not for hunting. See, I used to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things, even when you're hunting, they protect the birds and the animals and even the fish. Most of them they do human beings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take, for instance, when I was out there hunting, you couldn't shoot a female pheasant. You only could shoot a male. You only could kill one male female. And when you go to get, you have to have a license to hunt. And when you go get your license, you got to go through a training.
Uh-huh.
You got to learn how to shoot and how to carry your gun, you know. And but
well,
see,
it doesn't sound like this. It doesn't sound like this kid had any problems using the gun. That doesn't sound like that was his issue. It's more about securing the school. I mean, the kid, he was 19. He was of legal age to purchase the gun. But the idea is that how does he walk into a school? And this is even worse with this school situation because we actually had an armed police officer or armed guard who worked as a police officer or whatever and did not draw his weapon.
That's a good time. Glad you brought that point out.
Right.
Now, in the University of Islam, we got schools.
Uh-huh.
You could not bring no gun in the school. Actually, we teach our brothers, young brothers, they don't be carrying guns on the street. And when you come to our mosque, even police and even FBI, all of them come to our mosque, but they know they can't bring their guns inside the building, and that's what we worship. They leave their guns at the door. They give us a lot of respect, and then when they get ready to leave, they take their guns. And this is the thing is what's really happening. The guns that they are selling people is not for the hunt or nothing like that. It's for to kill people. Now, why would you want to get that type of a gun? Now, like I can see you having a gun in your house, like a shotgun, a pistol, or something like that.
Well, I guess my thing is if the bad guys are using them, why wouldn't the good guys want them?
Well, you know why the bad guys want them, but you're not supposed to be a bad guy.
I want to stop the bad guy.
The thing that's right. And if you got, like I said, this a pistol or maybe a shotgun, that'll protect you in your house. Nobody can't just come in there on you, and they not.
So you're trying to ban assault weapons, is what you're saying, Abdullah. You want to ban the assault weapons?
Don't need these. These are the things that they really don't need, and it's against the law for you to carry one out hunting. See, like I said, I'm hunting.
Right.
And if you got one of them type of weapons out there hunting for birds, rabbits, deer, they'll give you a ticket. Did you know that?
All right, Abdullah. Well, I tell you what, we're going to see if that happens, if they're going to do this ban.
Check me out. Don't just take my word. I tell you, like what Malcolm had said. When I said something, don't just take what I'm saying and run with it. Check it out.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Abdullah. I appreciate it. All right, man, I'm going to go to my partner. I got to skip around here a little bit. I'm going to give one of my partners here because they feeling like they got something to say. Let's go to Mo Green. Mo Green, welcome to the show. Y'all got to turn that radio down, though.
This is my boy. What say, man? Oh, we got it down. I'm in the car with ECs, man. It's hard to do this here.
Welcome to the show, Mo Green.
Listen here. Look here, BZ. I'm going to tell you.
See, these are my real folks.
This gun debate little thing you got going, man, ain't nothing going to help the gun. Look, this gun violence is going to happen whether you want to or not.
I agree. I'm not saying I think it's all a waste of time to try to make gun bans.
You can ban your bump stocks. You can invest another $30-40 billion into this. It's never going to stop people shooting up schools.
But wait a minute, Mo. We went to DPD schools. They didn't happen at our schools like that. We had. We had police.
Were there metal detectors at Stonehaven and whatever?
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Maybe they need to change some of that, adopt the policies that kept us at least safe in school. You know, you went to Redford, right? I went to Mumford.
Absolutely, I went to Redford.
And so, you know, and while you were in school, you know, it might be a fight or something, but once you got on Grand River, that's something different. And so, at least in school.
Our schools look like prisons. You know what I'm saying?
We called our school the Blue Prison. It had
our schools look like an actual place where you left from school and went straight to Wayne County Jail almost, man.
Yeah, no, we called it the Blue Prison in Mumford.
But it wasn't no mass shootings. I've never heard of a mass shooting in Detroit in my whole 41 years of living.
Nope, won't happen. So I think you agree that one, the ban on guns would be useless. Nothing would stop. If criminals by law are going to break the law. So whatever law you put in place to stop it, if someone wants to kill someone, they're going to break that law to accomplish their goals. And maybe they ought to borrow.
Without incriminating anybody.
That's it. Okay. There we go. Of course.
I mean, someone like me someone like whoever, we could get a gun if we wanted to. All that stuff you're doing with it's irrelevant, is all I'm saying. You should dump that money into educational or reform or drug programs or something. Because
My man, that's knowledge right there. Can I give your website a shout out so they can see where we go with this, man?
Absolutely. You know, what is it? I'm gonna put your banner up on my site, and you can just give me a shout out every once in a while.
DirtyGloveBastard.net.
My boy.
Thanks, Mo Green, for calling in, chiming in, my brother. All right, man. I hope if y'all in town, man, I'm about to catch up with you guys maybe after I get off the show. All right, so let's go to who's been on here the longest. We're going to Elvin and then Anthony. You're next, man. Elvin, thanks for waiting so long.
Well, hey, how y'all doing today?
All right, how you doing?
Good. Y'all got to honor students, man. You know, at the beginning of the day, you got to pass out a pistol, and at the end of the day, you pick it up. You know, and guns is good. You know, and then you got to teach these kids how to shoot. So, you know, at target class, those kids that exemplify themselves at the range, y'all give those kids some assault rifles to carry. You know, and the kids with good grades, give them assault rifles too. You know, that's way you got kids competing.
Okay,
you know?
Elvin, I got
you.
How
about this? You know, let's show some movies. You know, when the drama team goes dramas to the kids, how about they show some movies like, you know, pass out like plays like Dirty Harry and Cobra. You know, no more of that Hello Dolly stuff. Give us some gun movies. Get to teach those kids how to shoot.
Thank you.
This stuff don't happen in Detroit.
That's
you know
right.
Why? You know why? Because the students got guns. Everybody knows that.
All right, man. Let's get it.
Junior high, they got guns. Don't give them kids guns. Guns is good. Guns save lives. Give everybody guns.
All right, Elvin. Thanks a lot, man. You know, I love sarcasm. You know, sarcasm touches my heart. So I love that, Elvin. That was good, man. You have the patience to come on. You deserve that. I appreciate the petty. All right, let's go to my man Anthony, because he was ticked that I kicked him off earlier, but I didn't kick you off, man. As you can see, the lines are going crazy tonight. Anthony, welcome back to the show.
All right, Wolverine. Thanks for having me back.
Wolverine, how dare you? Oh, that's worse.
You off, bro.
I did not kick you off, man. I have a guy here that's doing this. Wrap it up. Next caller. You know, that's all I'm doing, man. But you're back, man.
All right, real quick. Breaking news. They said 3 more officers showed up at the scene and didn't enter the school. So
are they going to be fired as well?
I guess so. But
they should be
4 officers who were too scared to run into that school and go against a guy with an AR-15. So once again, if you got 4 police officers too scared to go against,
how can we expect teachers? How can we expect a teacher to bust back?
Teachers to do that.
I don't know. That's a fair question, Anthony. That does not give the credence too much to the whole give everyone a gun in school if you got cops that are scared to even do their job. So you're totally right on that one.
But you know what would make it a lot easier and solve the problem?
Mm-hmm.
If people like that never got AR-15. You know what I'm saying? So that's the solution.
In a perfect world, you know, if every time we said that, if we said, you know, we just kept the gun out of that guy's hand, my partner wouldn't be dead.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. You keep saying that the bad guys got the guns, bad guys got the AR-15, right?
Yep.
And AK-47s.
Illegally.
So can you please tell me when has there been an incident where somebody had to protect their home against a bad guy with because they had an AK-47, so they got one too. So they shot back at the bad guy.
I don't know if that's ever been the scenario, but I would feel like,
then
again,
why'd you keep preaching
because
that?
listen,
Like,
why if one of those teachers in there, maybe if they had an AR-15 on them, they would have felt a little more confident to go one-on-one with this guy who had the gun. Yeah, it would feel kind of like you're outgunned. It'd be just like Coming to America when my man Arsenio was busting a little cap gun, like pap, pap. That's how you would feel against a guy with an AR-15 and you holding on to a handgun. So, again, the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, Anthony. That's the only thing that
we
convince
had
me.
4 good guys at the school.
We can't help it. They were scared. They didn't have a heart. Those are cowards.
You're a proud gun owner, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you had a kid, you don't know who it is, nothing like that. You just driving by a school and you got your gun on.
No. That's police work, brother. I'm not doing that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not running up in nobody's school. No, I'm being honest with you. That's not my job. Listen, my job. If my kids were in there, huh? No, come on, man. That's crazy. You're not.
Why not?
Nah,
you're a sharpshooter.
I didn't say I was a sharpshooter, but I feel like this. I feel like I would be in a better situation if I was there on parent-teacher conference day and some crazy guy walked in there. I'm glad I got my pistol. Now, I'm not supposed to because it's a gun-free zone, but that's what makes us sit in ducks if you know everyone's no guns.
You want to go back to the talking points that you hear.
I'm not talking points. Those are not talking points. That's just legitimate. You asked me would I run into a danger zone. No, I wouldn't. But
why not?
Because it shouldn't be a danger zone. Take away the gun-free zone, and now we're not sitting ducks. Because we're not going to take away the guns, Anthony. You know that, and I know that.
No, I said that particular gun. See, here's the thing. Why don't you make it clear to people that no one's trying to take away your gun. We're just trying to get rid of.
Some people like AR-15s. Are you going to take away Are you going to take away vets that go over 100 miles an hour? Because that's an individual choice. Those are just as dangerous. More people die in the hands of speeding cars than they do of gunshots every year. And I don't see anybody trying to regulate speed.
You get those facts from?
Car accidents are way more frequent. Deaths and auto accidents are a lot more frequent.
Where you get it from? Breitbart or Fox News? Which one?
Neither one of those, man. Come on. All I'm trying to point out to you, is that these are individual decisions by very either sick or bad people. And that's what we need to focus on, not taking away the guns from fellow patriots and gun
I know that you never mentioned that this guy was a Trump supporter, right?
I don't know if that has anything to do with this.
I just want you to know that.
I mean, that's fine. You guys don't like when we bring up most of these guys are registered Democrats. We never bring up most of these guys are registered Democrats.
Wayne, listen to me. On your page, this is what I'm talking about, spreading false things. Well, first of all, people on your page are spreading saying, "Oh, the guy was a Democrat, arrested."
And I never get involved in that. I don't think that should have anything to do with it.
But here's the thing. Then you start spreading that. You made me use my train of thought. Golly. But my point is this: like, we have to start spreading false information, man, because.
Fake news is
out
of control.
It's rotting our brains, like on both sides.
I've said that. Now I will agree with you.
That these kids are crisis actors? Are you one of those?
No, I'm not with all that. I'm not with all that. There is, but I will say there is a photo or a video of this supposedly the same guy. I want to believe that's not true. Okay, I do. For my greater good.
If you did your research. I know what you're going to say. If you did your research, that guy was visiting California. They were talking about something when a police officer asked the guy to move his white surfboard, and he was responding to that. So you mean to tell me this guy can't go to California and have a vacation and be interviewed on the news, and all of a sudden he's a crisis actor?
I'm not with all that stuff. I think that we need to pay attention to the tragedy itself. I've seen people trying to connect.
Donald Trump Jr. liking stuff like that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta.
That's Donald Trump is speaking. If he speaks for himself on that, that's fine. He's an individual. He's the president. But what I'm saying is we have to look at the bigger scope of the problems. Tackle the mental health issues. Taking away people's rights to buying private property is not the way to do it. You just don't.
Social media is a blessing and it's a curse because one of the things that I'm serious. Like, we get all our information on this. I'm not going to admit.
We've become lazy.
I've got information that I thought was like, okay, yeah, that's obviously right. It wasn't right.
Yeah, no, we've definitely become a lot lazier of a society because all you got to do is flip on your computer or your phone. And there's people that are taking advantage of that, putting out false news, false narratives, and it's essentially to keep their people the way they want them to feel. Breitbart people put out their narrative. MSNBC or the Huffington Post puts out theirs. And so in the struggle to get the real news, I always tell people to go to 2 or 3 sources. You know, it's not until I see it in 3 to 4 sources.
What you do all the time, Wayne?
For the most part, I will. It's been come on, you know, for me, for the most part, is every now and then, if there's been an article or something that's proven not true, I either take it down or I say, all right, that wasn't legit. But for the most part,
you know they're paying you.
Now there's no. Trust me, my job would prefer I didn't post anything. To be quite honest, they probably prefer that I didn't do any of that. So no, they don't pay me to post. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you that.
One last thing, because I know you got to go to other callers. Why did Trump need notes, sympathy notes, to listen to?
Every president has notes that they're given by their staff and assistants.
I said sympathy notes.
It wasn't sympathy notes. It basically told him to.
What did it say,
Wayne? To listen. That's what it said. That was the main thing. Number 5 on the list was to listen and be sympathetic.
What can I do? Why does he need?
Because you know why? They just want to make sure he's doing things the right way.
He has no. He never had to.
No.
He's been a millionaire all his life.
He's a very caring. He's a very caring man. He's a caring man, and there's multiple stories of his generosity. Of him taking care of people.
If you have to write 5 things down to show that you're a caring person, you're not a caring person.
Nah, I disagree. He's a busy man. He's got a lot on his plate right now. He's probably filled with anger. No, he wanted to make sure that he sent out the positive message and didn't come off too cruel because he's mad right now.
Because he's not capable.
You're not giving my president. You're not giving my president enough credit, Anthony. Let's make America great again. Me and you, buddy. Thank you for calling in for the second time, my friend. All right. We got Kelvin. Kelvin, you're on the line. Thank you for calling in. Oh, well, Juwan's said it's time to go to a break. All right. Well, we're going to go to a break here on the Wayne Bradley Show. We've got about another 45 minutes when we come back that we're going to go through, 35 minutes, and we're going to try to get through the rest of these calls here. Ray, JJ, Kelvin, Tim, Theo, Val, Nasheem. We're going to get back to you, I promise. Thank you again, Anthony, for calling in. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show, 9, 10 a.m., your superstation, the future of radio.
That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show.
Happy Black History Month.
Hi, this is Al Sharpton with another moment in Black history.
Let freedom ring, and if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I love 910 AM. I listen all day long. So many articulate and thoughtful, diverse voices and wonderful stories.
I always head to the 910 AM website for the latest in entertainment news, community events, and more.
So when you think of 910 AM Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I absolutely love this radio station. This station gets me through the work week.
And we don't just show love to the callers. We see the comments and the posts too.
I'm always on the go, so being able to watch all my favorite hosts on 910 AM mobile app is amazing.
So when you think of 910 AM Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show, 9:10 a.m. your superstation. Just telling Juwan I've got some ideas. I'm going to drop me a hot 16, do another little mix to this. Give me another song. We'll have to work with Kid or somebody and get them to come on here and drop some tracks for me. Help me out. I need some more hip hop influence on my music here during these breaks here. All right, so you know what? Before I jump to the next call, I just wanted to do this real quickly. My friend Robin Barnes was on here telling me how to talk about this. Wednesday night, the Michigan Republican Party hosted its 5th annual Black History Month celebration at the St. Regis Hotel in Detroit. We had about 200 people there. We had the Lieutenant Governor of Kentucky, who is from Detroit, a Cass Tech graduate, Wayne State graduate, who gave a very positive message about how she got involved in the Republican Party. We also honored some other folks here in the area for their business and leadership awards and faith and leadership awards. So it was a really good celebration. We had some grassroots award winners, and I want to thank Carrie Jackson, who was the MC for the evening, another 910 host here in the mornings from 6 to 7. Thank you, Carrie Jackson, as usual, my mentor, another one of my mentors. I feel always blessed to always remind folks that people always say, Wayne, you're doing some great things and you're in the mix, but I give a lot of credit to a lot of my mentors, my father, and folks that really push me. My father always, who really we're not on the same page politically to a certain degree. He always pushed me, but he always let me be my own person. He never forced anything on me in terms of politics, and I was allowed to make my own path. I sometimes wonder if he wishes he wouldn't have pushed more on me now at these times. But we, I thank all my mentors. I want to thank the Michigan Republican Party and Chairman Ron Weiser for his leadership and vision and allowing, putting the resources to have yet another successful event at the St. Regis Hotel. I want to get more folks involved. So, if you want to get more involved, we're gonna find some ways. Go on Facebook, click on the Michigan Black Republican Caucus, so you can stay updated with some of the things we're trying to do out here. But I do appreciate folks that came out. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, and Anthony, man, it's been so much going on our MSU basketball team. It's just breaking my heart right now. I can't even bring myself to talk about that right now. Just glad that we got John Engler in there to help right these wrongs. And Justice Bob Young, who won the Lifetime Achievement Award, is also going to be there working at MSU, getting things together here. So let's go to we got about 5 or 6 callers, and I want to make sure we get to everybody before the show is up. So let's go to Kelvin, who's been waiting patiently. Kelvin, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. I'm calling because I'm actually tired of people who are ignorant of our history and heritage as far as keeping and bearing arms. Mm-hmm. They're ignorant of the law and the Constitution.
Yes, sir.
The Michigan Constitution, 1963, Article 1, Section 6, says you have the right of bearing arms. Every person has the right to keep and bear arms for the defense of himself and the state. Guns are to defend you. They're not to hunt. They're not to target practice with. They're not for fun or sport. Their primary purpose is self-defense.
Right.
Also, everybody who's an able-bodied male in good standing in the community from age 15 in certain states to 55, it varies, is automatically part of the militia and may be called upon to serve the state and to defend the state if necessary. And you, in that case, you provide your own weapon. The state will not do it for you. And the AR-15 is a civilian version of the standard military rifle in America. That's what everybody should have. Who's competent.
I like it.
Anybody who says otherwise is ignorant. The police there, they maintain general order. They're not your personal bodyguard.
Amen.
That is not their purpose.
Protection is a personal responsibility. Protection is a personal responsibility. Once the police get there, it's usually too late. That means somebody called the police to help in a situation. By the time they arrive, it's usually too late. Protection is definitely a personal responsibility.
And it's protected by the Constitution. The Constitution of the state and the federal Constitution does not give you that right. It protects those rights.
Amen to that.
You're born with those rights. Those come from nature or God. You're born with
inalienable rights. There you go.
That is correct.
Well, Kelvin, you know what? Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You're delivering because, a lot of these folks are confused on what's going on here.
Okay. And again, you spoke about Dr. Ossian Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All gun prohibition laws, and the original ones was against Indians, Native Americans, and blacks who happened to be slaves at the time of the Constitution, because not all blacks were slaves.
Right.
Freed men were always able to keep and bear arms, as well as freed women. The restrictions on gun rights of any type were always to control people who the powers to be at that time in history considered out the mainstream. Indians, slaves. And then the southern states, as the slaves might get free, they start passing onerous gun laws against the freed slaves.
Yep. Gun boards in Michigan were made to make sure black folks couldn't get guns here in Michigan.
That is correct. And in the urban areas like Boston and the big city like New York, it was to oppress the immigrants that were coming from Ireland and Italy. That was the purpose of the gun laws.
Right.
Period.
It's not to make us
safer.
safer.
They were never to stop crime.
Right.
It's control certain segments of the population at any given point in history. And we're just plain ignorant of our history, heritage.
Thank you.
Blacks have fought in every war in this country. We have a right to keep and bear arms, and we have a right to keep a civilian version of the military arm that's carried by our proud soldiers in this great country.
Thank you so much, Kelvin. Give this man a round of applause. This man deserves a round of applause. I'll need that.
I am what I call myself a constant objective.
You better take that off. That man deserves a serious round of applause. Thank you, Kelvin. I appreciate you for being patient and waiting, but it was well worth it. You just delivered a sermon, a wake-up call to all these black folks out here crying to give up their guns. I don't get it. Thank you so much.
And I will email you some information so next time these people call in with this nonsense, you'll be able to rebut and refute their false claims. You have a good night, sir, and I'll continue listening.
You can email me at wb@conservativebro.com. Thanks a lot, Kelvin. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to JJ, my man JJ.
Hey, man, what's happening, Dave?
What's going on?
Hey, I'm glad some people are awake in this country. You got to check out Ted Turner owns NBC, CNN, MSNBC. Okay, Google who owns the media in this country. So they push the narrative that they want.
Right.
Okay, it's only a couple of people own all the 80, 90% of the media in this country. All right? And the right to bear arms, correct. That man's 100% correct. It was not to protect me from you. It was to protect us from foreign entities. And I'm glad that other guy spoke what he said, because China owns 5% of the property in this country. 5% of the property. And Google that too and see foreign countries that own property in this country. We just don't owe them debt. They own this property. All right? And when he talked about martial law, my oath when I joined the service was to protect this country from foreign and domestic terrorists.
Yep.
Okay? So I'm glad some folks are awake and they just ain't listening to the media and getting dumbed down, man. The Second Amendment was to protect us from other countries. And on the AR-15, Wayne, in '75, I got out of the service. Dude, they've been selling that gun for 45 years that I know of.
Right.
Okay, there's 20 million of them in this country. So if you have 2 shootings a year with an AR-15, that's 1 out of 10 million guns. 1 out of 10 million guns. Dude, there's thousands of shootings every year from all kinds of other guns.
You know what it is, JJ? I always tell you, it's just like anything else. They're always against the big black guns. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, white supremacy, brother.
It's always something with the big black guns, JJ. I don't know what that's about. Man, thank you so much, man, for calling in. I appreciate it, brother.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, what is it with this? Why is it always the big black guns that everyone's got a problem with? I don't understand what that's all about. You know? It's always the big black guns. Goodness. Let's go to Tim, who's been waiting on the line, calling from the 705. I don't even know where that's at, but Tim, thank you for calling in.
Hey.
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
It's going good. How you doing?
Look, I'm up in Canada.
Oh, in Canada. Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's cold up here.
Yes, it is.
Listen, look, I like, as a Canadian, we live next door to the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens in the U.S. always affects us.
Right.
Because they're our biggest trading partner, and we're their biggest trading partner, if you knew that. But there you go. Anyway, that's what I talk about. I don't think it's a hardware problem. I'm a gun owner in Canada.
Are you? I didn't know they even let you guys have guns over in Canada.
I beg your pardon?
So you guys have do you have full gun rights over in Canada? Or is it just because I've,
Yeah, well, the whole gun right thing goes back to English common law, which was the basis of your law. And in 1688 or something, the British common law allowed people to possess weapons of 1688, a long time ago, to possess weapons suitable to their station or whatever. And English common law is the basis of your law.
Right.
I don't know if you know that, but it is. Anyway.
Interesting.
Like, but what we don't control. I got a card in my wallet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's called a possession and acquisition license.
Okay.
Right. So I can buy non-restricted firearms, which are the basic long guns.
Okay.
Right. And handguns, which are called restricted, because in order to get your license for those, you go through a process.
Mm-hmm.
But the process is that, now I'm not talking about hardware and restricting guns. Our approach is that, if you got a minute or two,
I got to run through these calls. You got to make it fast here. I need to know, do you guys have mass shooting problems in Canada?
A few, very few.
Okay.
But here's the deal.
All right.
Is that if I want to, say I don't own any firearms, anything like that, and I want to, buy a firearm and so on, then I have to fill out a very long form, sort of a paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to have my information there, and it has to be signed by my wife.
Wow.
And also it has to be co-signed by people like, justice of the peace or a police officer or various people attesting to, like who I am and so on. And then it's submitted to the RCMP, which is a federal police.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go over it, and it takes a while. It's not this 3-day.
Yeah, I mean, so Tim, what do you? I'm trying to figure it out here. What do you think we should be more like Canada? You think have to go through all these processes to get our guns? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, it's that we in Canada, the emphasis is on who the people that want to buy firearms.
Ah, okay. More government paying attention to those
Not
guys.
on the hardware.
Okay.
The hardware is kind of like secondary.
Interesting.
And the thing is that you go in like this guy at the Florida shooting went in. I think there's some deal where you got this 3-day kind of thingy down there, and if they don't get your background check done in 3 days or something, well, then you can just buy it anyway. It's like.
I get it, Tim. Hey, listen, man, I got to get to this next call, man. I really appreciate you calling on all the way in from Canada. My friends from Canada. Oh, Canada. Hey. Love Canada, eh? I'm going to have to go to Windsor one of these times. Yep. We're going to have to go swing over to Canada, eh? Would you like to go with me, Juwan? Eh? Yeah, I got my Canadian thing going on. You know about that, man. You're looking at me all crazy for. Let's go to Hashim. Hashim, man.
Hey, Wayne, how are you?
All right, how you doing, my brother?
Good. Hey, Wayne, who cares what other countries do and don't do?
I know that. I was trying to be nice. This is America, buddy.
Okay.
Let's put America first. Huh?
Now, let's be straight. I really would like broadcasters like you to just cut it off. Meaning, if you don't like the Constitution, go ahead and try to amend it.
That's always a possibility, but I don't think it would happen right now. But you're right. If you don't like it, you can always make an amendment. You're right.
I'm saying here we are. All this BS going on, and the reality is, and the shooting in Florida proved that the officers are human beings.
Right.
Some of these officers are, they have a family, kids, grandkids, a plan for their retirement, and they are armed with a handgun, and they're here shooting inside with automatic or semi-automatic weapons. Do you think they all gonna jump and go in? You'll be crazy if you think they all gonna jump and go in. Some of them will.
Right.
This is the same thing in war. Not all the soldiers receive, that
bravery. Yeah, no question. Not every one of them is brave.
You know what I'm saying? So here we are. If you think, or if anybody out there thinks that the police or the law enforcement are going to be there when they are attacked or robbed or ventilated, whatever, they are making a big mistake. They are not going to be there. So that's why the ownership of property and protecting your property yourself in America is a right by the Constitution. That's why
you know what? I appreciate all my real constitutionalists and folks that actually adhere and understand the Constitution calling in today. Thank you so much, Hasim. I appreciate it, my friend. All right, let's go to Ray, who's on the line.
Hello. Thank you. That guy from Canada wouldn't last 1 minute on Mount Elliott and Gratiot. Not 1 minute. I ain't kidding. Listen, the Second Amendment is there to protect Americans and our freedom of speech. If they take,
the Canadians are our friendly neighbors to the north, but they ain't living like us down here. That's for sure.
No way in hell. Foreign and domestic. The Second Amendment protects us. Donald Trump has nothing. Really, any politician has nothing to do with our constitutional rights, but they are trying to mess with them.
Well, the one thing they could do that I don't think any of them, Democrat or Republican, has had the heart to do is they could try to make amendments. They could try to, but it would be in court for the rest of their natural lives anyway. So I think that the
problem is, why are we
even worried about that?
Deal with these people. Well, yeah, you have to worry every day because they are after us. as free people.
Yes, they are. This is not about our safety. This is about control.
That damn right. You look all over the world. I'm gonna cry. We're losing our freedoms every day. I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry, Ray.
I can't help it.
Stay
We're
strong.
Gonna lose our country.
No, we're not going to lose our country. We're going to stand strong together and continue to make this America great again.
The Second Amendment is the most important one. It protects us from foreign and domestic people that want to take our freedom. This country, people died from day one for freedom, and people are confused. They're not realizing that if they take our right to defend ourselves against them or anybody, we can't defend ourselves. Just like Europe, there's no more Germany. There's no more Europe. Europe's gone, man, because they let the government take their guns. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Don't do it. Stand strong, Ray. Thank you for calling in, man. Stand strong. We'll pray for you. Look, Patriots, we just have to continue to stand strong. Ray, they're not going to take our rights because us as the people, our voice is stronger. And all these different constitutionals calling in this evening, I appreciate you. All right, I got 2 more calls. I got to take a quick one with Bob, and then I'm going to finish out the show with my guy. Bob, thank you for calling in.
Yes, I was at your event with my wife on Wednesday evening.
Thank you. How did you enjoy that, Bob?
Well, I'll tell you, I wrote about it, and I talk about it. People have so much talent, don't they?
Yes, indeed.
And then they turn that talent into service.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, I'm running for the United States Senate, right? I need those people that give me energy. We walked out of there at probably a foot high. I think we were the last ones to leave because the people who won the awards took the time to visit with us.
That's
and
good.
It's just so inspiring. And you're doing it, 5 years in a row now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I would congratulate you, but more importantly, tell people, there is some really wonderful, talented people out there that people are taking time to say, hey, thank you.
Yes, indeed.
And that was a thank you night.
Well,
very, very well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We were blessed. We were very, very blessed.
Thank you so much, Bob, for coming down. I really appreciate you taking time out your schedule to be a part of that event. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, it's only right. I got a couple minutes left. I got to finish out with my guy because we're going to ride out this show together. Hey, I want Ray to stay strong, my friend. Stay strong, all right? We're going to stay strong together. All right, let's bring in my main man, Walter, to the airlines. Let's give it up for Walter. Give it up for Walter. No booze, no hate. Give it up for my man, Walter. Oh, man. There you go. Bring it in, my man, Walter. Walter. Stop it, man.
Ooh, you suck.
Walter, welcome to the show, my friend. Haven't talked to you in a couple of days, man. How you been?
All right, he should have had that reserved for Brian.
Oh, there you go, man.
You suck.
I started to take it personal from Juwan. You do it so many times.
Yeah, man. One time is okay, man. He just really started to boo you, man. I don't know what that's about, man.
Yeah, he taking my comments a little bit too personal.
Welcome to the show, Walter. So tell me something. I'm sure you've been listening a little bit here as we've been talking about this gun rights issue and how do we keep our schools safe. What are your suggestions? And what do you, and I know one thing that you might touch on that we took God out of schools. We took God out of schools a long time ago. So it's been godless for quite a while. And this is some of the results you get. But go ahead, Walter. Drop some knowledge on these folks.
Well, first of all, I don't give it to the schools to put God in it because there's too many various religions and too many variations in the schools. And people try to shout it down if you did bring the one true God. And there's only one true God that needs to be in our schools, who's the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Every other religion is fake, false, and phony. Islam and the rest of them, fake, false, and phony.
Ooh, you suck.
Oh, man, Walter, you know how you know how to get things going, man.
That's why I said apparently Juan's a secret closet Muslim. He's taking up for my friend Abdulia the Fulia.
So Walter, you kill me, man. It's like I said, that's why I say the best for last, man. I want to ride out with my man Walter today. All right, so let's deal with a couple things here, man. What do you think? How do you think we need to deal with these shooting scenarios in these schools? Because we pointed out earlier, this doesn't happen in Mumford, Henry Ford, Redford. Now it might happen on the outside, but you're not having any mass shootings inside those schools.
No, just like that theater incident. I think it was. I don't know if it was a Colorado. The guy came in and shut up all those people in the theater.
Yep.
That wild-eyed looking guy.
Yes. Yeah. I remember with the orange hair, looking like a clown.
Yeah, he's playing dumb and crazy, but he sure was. He wasn't playing dumb and crazy when he was on the run.
No, he
wasn't. All these people, they like to declare them insane and everything else, but they know how to run and not get hit by a car when they're crossing the street, so they're not that dumb and insane. That guy knew exactly what a gun-free zone theaters were.
Well, you know, this kid that who just made the killing over Parkland, he immediately said, "I'll plead guilty. Just don't give me the death sentence." So he wasn't that crazy. He doesn't want to die.
Yeah, why should he live when everybody else done died?
Yeah, you got to put him down. I don't understand why if we put him to the death sentence, why he gets 10 years of appeals. Put him down.
Yeah,
send the right message.
If they do it the Old Testament way, God had cold-blooded murderers die instantly.
Yep.
And they were stoned to death back then. I think if we bring this country, put fear and strike fear in the hearts of Americans, the criminals out here in America, like a guillotine, hanging, firing squad, or fry them in an electric chair, I guarantee you they'd deter some of these criminals.
Hanging.
And right next to Saddam Insane Hussein.
Oh my God, man!
And, I'm gonna tell you something. That's right. That'll stop a lot of these criminals from when they think about murdering somebody. They know they're gonna get fried and died in an electric chair.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anyway. I agree with that. I think that even in states where they have the death penalty, it takes too long. You forget about it. Other things happen. If someone committed a crime and they were immediately tried and immediately put down, you would change a lot of way these guys would just run around killing people for no reason. There's no question about it.
Hey, my man is working in other countries, even though they are communists and dictators, but they struck fear in the people. You go committing crimes and polluting our land, corrupting our land.
There's a price
to
pay.
Even the Old Testament, God
they don't even want you stealing. You try to steal in these other places. See, now, because of the lawyers and America and the court systems, it's a big money game. It's a little different. Over there, it's about the honor and doing the right thing. And if you don't, your government's going to make you pay the price.
And let me tell you something about these clowns on this radio station, some of the talk show hosts. It's amazing some of these callers, these black folks, some of these black folks like Spud, talking about no guns in the schools, the teachers shouldn't have guns. You know what? They'll say anything to protect the Lucifercrats, known as Democrats. They'll say anything to protect their cause, even if it means going along to get along. They don't want to break rank and be different and unique like you and me, okay? Black conservatives, they'll go just to go along with the Democrats. They'll say anything, and they all say the same stuff. Yeah, we shouldn't have guns in schools. We shouldn't arm the teachers. And by the way, the teachers' unions there are arguing against it too. And the teachers, how dumb are they?
Well, they're all in the same. They're all in the same camp when it comes to that. You know,
they're Democrats, and their unions are they're a lot of 60% of their money goes to support the Lucifercrats. That's right, I said Lucifercrats. I ain't changing it. You know, and I'm gonna tell you, these people that call this radio station, they talking about nobody should have no guns. I guess they want to go along with this mass. If you disarm the citizens, you're gonna have mass murders like Hitler. These dictators convinced the people in their country that we'll protect you. You don't need the guns. We'll keep crime low and everything else. And what they do is they get in there and they have mass killings. You can't say nothing. They bug in your house.
Right.
You don't have no freedom to speak out against the dictators. And history has proven itself that if they take them guns away, that's what's going to happen. And the Democrats would do that in a heartbeat because they promote mass killing of babies every day through abortion clinics.
Well, that's the part that really blows my mind. When you put in perspective how many abortions and that they support, how many babies are killed each year, and there seems to be no outrage on that. But, it's about the guns.
So when Jerron hit that button and booed me, he supported the Lucifercrats and their mass murderers of babies and everything else. That's right, I said it, Jerron. That's right. You suck. That's right. You suck, Jerron.
Hey, listen, Walter, man, I had to finish out the show with you today, my friend. I will be back next week, but thank you again for calling in and adding the most thoughtful commentary to the Wayne Bradley Show, as usual. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. God bless you. Have a great weekend, my friend Walter. Thank you, sir. He just couldn't help himself. He had to boo you again. Terrible. You're the most hated. Thank you, Walter. Suck. You know you're special when you're the most hated and the most loved, and I know that feeling sometimes, Walter. Thank you again, my friend, for calling in. My folks on Facebook, Joel, you say he loves Walter, a solid thinker. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So, again, I want to thank everyone that was listening in today. If you ever get a chance, if you ever miss any of my shows, you can go to conservativebro.com and get all the recordings. There's always the live podcast on there. You can also, if you have your iPhone, you can go to your iPod or your, podcast. Go to your podcast and look up The Wayne Bradley Show. You'll get every show that I've ever done. You can get them all and check them out. I appreciate you listening in. I appreciate the compliment. Thanks, Joe, for listening in to the show today on Facebook. Make sure we'll be back next week. You've been listening to The Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m., your superstation, the future of radio. You guys have a good evening, and I'll see you next week. God bless you. Good night. Well, I'm going to ride out, I guess. Oh, we got another minute here? 1 minute. We're going to count it down. If anyone's looking for me tonight, I'll probably be downtown, PV Lounge. Come down there and have a drink with your boy. It's been a long week. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for coming out. I'm about to go pick up my daughter, take her, hang out, and then I'm going to hang out. Daddy's free. No kids this weekend. What up, though? Holla at me. I'm going to go down to PV Lounge or something. I might just keep it in the neighborhood and go over to the locker room lounge. But either way, I'm good with my folks. I'll see you later. How much longer we got here? We tuning out? Oh, there it goes. Make sure you go to conservativebro.com to get any of the podcasts and shows. Go to your podcast and download it on your iPhone. You can also go to SoundCloud and get The Wayne Bradley Show. Thanks again for listening. I'll be back next Tuesday. You listen, it's been fun on The Wayne Bradley Show, 9:10 a.m., your superstation, the future of radio.
That's what it is. It's The Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up. It's The Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
Every weeknight at 9 p.m. is something new and something fresh.
This is Todd Corser, and I want you to check out my show. Listen in and call every week as we explore government and hot topics. Tune in, raw and uncut.
This is attorney Michael Schwartz at 9:10 a.m. Superstation, and you can hear me every Tuesday night starting at 9 p.m.
Hello, Detroit. This is attorney Crystal Crittenden, and please tune in to my new show, The Truth Matters, on 9:10 a.m. Superstation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Mitchell, your host of Mind Your Business. Listen to my show live every Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m.
I'm Reverend Maya Lisa Reynolds, inviting you to listen to Mama Maya Speaks Friday evenings from 9 until 11 p.m., discussing education, motivation, and inspiration on Superstation 9:10 a.m.
Different names, different voices, but the same energy. 9:10 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. There's always something new to talk about, and 9:10 a.m. Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle.
But it's time for us not to hate. It's time for us to love this city, this country. This is our country.
Right. I love the way that you're thinking. I would love to have someone like you working on my team. So wait. You do listen to 910, and we're glad that you do. And
I love this channel.
And I'm glad that you
love it.
The UAW, ASHME, AFL, they have a process. That process, by the way, is often dictated by who they see or their friends or pro-labor or whatever. We understand that's reasonable because you guys have a PAC, you have a political activity that has to buttress the bottom line of your work. We understand that. But the rest of these PAC and anyone who would suggest otherwise is just lying through their yellow teeth that you don't have to pay for that stuff is disingenuous.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation has arrived, and we're here to stay. We've got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts.
And I do believe, Dr. Vita, you are with us. Well, you have the snow days phenomenon up here, and we don't just do snow days, we do cold days here in this region. How does that feel?
It's different. I mean, we're used to dealing with hurricanes and general weather days. What we are trying to do is create a culture where we offer school and try to create a rhythm and cadence to attending school so we don't disrupt that to create a situation where students become used to not going to school or finding excuses not to go to school, but at the same time you have to be sensitive of the fact that it's too cold and we don't want children outside to where they can become ill or stranded outside because of bus transportation or being too far away from a school.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation, the leader in voices.
Let me ask you, Tashara, you blog about millennials and millennial issues. Do you think those definitions that I read off, lazy, they have a sense of entitlement, a lack of sense of etiquette, are those just stereotypes that have no basis in reality, or do you think that some of them are spot on?
I wouldn't say that they have no basis. Absolutely, there are those exceptions. And for some people, they definitely apply. But to the mass majority, I think it's just that it's a stereotype, which is never acceptable in any format.
All right, what about you, Mr. Sule, the sole man here holding it down? What do you think?
So for me, when I look at this, it's our generation gets painted with this broad paintbrush that we're lazy, not wanting to work hard or to even have some sort of career. But I think if you look back far enough, you'll find that in any generation,